Are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Hello everybody, what's up? Hey, welcome back to the GD1A Sports Podcast. This is our third episode. Have had a little trouble this weekend with my internet, so we're hoping today works. We're trying a different route. This should still be uploaded normal time. Should be able to get it when you got the last two. So we're gonna give it another go here. It kind of, I think, maybe worked out okay with the internet not working because we had all the Saturday games finish.
Right.
Which when we recorded, we wouldn't have had the Saturday games, so we've got a little bit on that too. So yeah, we'll give her a go here. I'll let you start off with the newly released RPI.
Yeah, it was nice to see the RPI finally came out. So looking at the boys, at number one, you got Bryce Valley, which, watching them play, I think they're definitely in that number one spot. So I feel like the RPI is spot on as far as Bryce Valley on the boys' end. Number two, you got Manila. Number three, Wayne. Number four, Pinnacle. I know the Pinnacle during the tournament played the Tigers and the Bobcats, ended up getting beat, so that might change in the RPI when it gets updated.
I think going into the tournament they were 7-1,
right,
and now they're 7-3. So yeah, I'm sure the next RPI that'll change a little bit.
But yeah, so they have Pinnacle at number 4, Panguitch at 5, Paiute at 6, Green River at 7, Tabiona at 8, Valley at 9, and Escalante at 10. So I think the RPI's definitely got things more spot on, but I know now that there's been, some of these teams are actually playing each other now. I feel like it's definitely going to get switched around a lot too. So
yeah, we're getting to that point of the season where you'll see teams move. And you got Valley and who'd you say was number 10? Valley was 9
Escalante.
and Escalante was 10. So those two are right on the cusp of the top 8, which now is what goes to state.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if everybody knows that or not, but the state tournament has changed a little bit this year. So the actual tournament at Salt Lake Community College will just be Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Right.
And it'll be the top 8 teams.
Yep.
The first round of state will be the weekend before at the higher seed team's home floor.
Yep.
So just to kind of give you guys that in case you did not know, it's changed a little bit.
Yeah, so as far as the boys, that's your top 10 in what the UHSA is saying. We go over to the girls. Wayne, they're number 1 right now, which, watching them, I believe that is a good spot for them, is because they've played some pretty good teams and they've been winning. So
and they had a tough game Friday night, too.
Yeah. So Wayne's at that number 1 spot. You got Valley at number 2. Panguitch at number 3, Tabiona at number 4, and yeah, over the weekend the Tigers they actually got that win over Panguitch, so we'll see what might happen there as well. Monument Valley's at number 5, Wendover's at number 6, Whitehorse is at number 7, and we're going to talk about a girl on Whitehorse's team here in a little bit. She's playing really well. Milford at number 8. Paiute at number 9 and Escalante at number 10. So
Escalante's boys and girls both right there, trying to get into at least that final spot, being number 8.
Yeah, so I mean, I do think that it's definitely going to get changed around now. That yes, some of these teams are playing each other now, not just playing the out-of-state teams. Kind of you're
kind of getting past the preseason start of things.
Yeah. So
I have a question for you. I probably should know this, but I don't. How often do they update and release that RPI?
I've never really looked into that.
Okay. If any of you guys that watch this, and I can ask Coach Giants, he would know too, but this is, like I said before, it's a good thing we're not professionals because we probably should know that, but we'll find out. If some of you guys listen do know, feel free to message me or Dally and let us know how often they update and release that.
But yeah, I mean, so looking at the RPI on the girls, I think, it's that top 5, I feel like, is definitely Right. I mean, Wayne
Well-
Valley, Panguitch, and Taviona, obviously, I feel like are the powerhouses this year in
Yeah.
the girls' side. So,
But 1A basketball is always so unpredictable. You never know. I mean, that could shuffle up boys and girls quite a bit. Teams can catch a hot streak. Sometimes your top teams can get in a little bit of a slump. All it takes is a couple of your players, and you could fall down a few spots. But ultimately, the goal to be the top 8.
oh yeah,
And then just kind of, because like as well as I do, once you hit the state tournament, everything changes. It's just
oh yeah,
your season prior to that doesn't really matter. You're there for a whole new three games, or I
Right.
guess 4, but 3 games at the actual tournament. So
right.
things could switch up quite a bit.
Yeah, so now we'll just look at a few of these games that was played throughout the week. I mean, I would have loved to watch some of these, but this week was just pretty busy with
I
Christmas
agree.
coming up and different things. So tried to watch a few at that tournament, but
Did you go to the? Oh, you didn't go. You just watched.
I didn't end up going to the tournament, but some of the
Parents.
Facebook lived a few of the Tabby games, so I obviously
Oh, that's
watched,
right. Because Friday you were here because we watched Wayne and
yeah,
Duchesne, and then we watched our girls in Panguitch.
yeah,
That's right.
So yeah, thank you to some of the Taviona parents that realized that they're not streaming it anywhere, and they was willing to.
And while we're on this, real quick before you move on, because it's on my mind. Again, any of you guys that listen to this from some of these other schools, whether you're a coach, a player, parent, fan, whatever, if you know where your school's games are being streamed, if you could let us know, we would really appreciate that, because we would like to watch, as many games as we can, but it's nearly impossible for us to be able to drive and watch some of these games just with the
yeah.
work schedule and every kid's schedule and everything. So if any of you guys know where your school's streamed, please let us know.
Yep. So looking at the boys' end, Manila beat Cameroon 59-46. Rice Valley but I know Draper, they're pretty good this year in the 2A. So Kanab also they're like the top dog.
Kanab's
and
always good, aren't they?
yeah, they're the top dog right now in 2A. I know that they're the one that's got to be beat.
I know when I was a senior at our All-Star game down there, we played the 2A, and Kanab had like 2 or 3 players
Oh yeah, their
on
program's
the All-Star team. So I
their
think-
program's always strong.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Kanab beat Paiute 77-59. Valley, this was one that was pretty interesting. Valley beat Bryce Valley 70-50. So
See, and that's one thing I was just a minute ago when I said things could flip. You could just that right there. I'm not taking anything away from Valley, saying that Bryce Valley should have beat them. That's not what we're getting at. But yeah, things could change. You just never know.
oh yeah, but yeah, we're gonna dig into that game a little bit. Water Canyon beat Milford 68-59. Language did beat Paiute 66-43, which I'm sure that was an intense game, probably till it got a little out of hand. But I feel like any game between Panguitch and Paiute's always a battle.
Yeah, it's
so
always been a solid rival.
Rich did lose to North Summit 47-70, but I'm not sure that Lundgren was playing.
Yeah, we didn't see him on the stats at all, so we're
So-
not real sure if he missed that game or. Because usually, I'm kind of thinking he did. Because usually a player, especially like him, you're going to get at least a rebound or something. There'll be
Yeah.
something on the stats, but where he wasn't on there, we'll have to try to verify that. But I'm wondering if he didn't play.
And then when you got to the tournament, Panguitch, they beat Pinnacle. Panguitch beat our boys, the Tigers. And then looking at the girls' side of things, Wayne beat Tinnick 56-26. Beat Monticello 49-19. Rich beat Big Piney 62-33. Manila ended up losing to Little Snake River 73-56. Language beat San Juan 68-61. Paiute beat Bryce Valley 53-25, and Panguitch beat Water Canyon 56-21, and then Valley ended up beating Escalante 41-25.
So those were the two teams in Or it was boys that was Valley and Escalante in the 9 and 10 spot in the RPI, huh?
Yeah.
Escalante was
Escalante was holding that 10 spot
in the girls too. So
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah, that's kind of a few of the games during the Pinnacle tournament. The Tigers and the Bobcats on the girls' side played each other as well, and the Tabby Tigers, they ended up getting that win over the Bobcats. So that was a good win, a good challenge for their team.
Good
Just-
confidence booster.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of see where there was, because their schedule definitely has been on the weaker end until that game. So it was nice to see them place a top dog team, and they kind of proved themselves. They're as good as anyone right now.
Right
so.
now, but that's the thing. You got to keep getting better because every team will. Penguins will keep getting better all year long. That team has not peaked. So, and we did watch it, and oh man, I can't remember her name. I know I've got her on here. I know she's number 5. I'll get her name here in a minute, but we know she can shoot.
Oh, Owens.
Owens, that's it, Owens. So we know she can shoot, but she didn't seem to do a whole lot the other night against Tabby. And part of that may have been Tabby's defense. Maybe I'm sure they remember from last year. So maybe they just kind of did a much better job on her. But Tabby has to get better throughout the season because, like I said, the rest of the teams are going to do that. It's very early for teams to be at peak right now. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, and you could tell watching that game that both teams knew like this is where you're gonna definitely prove yourself in the state.
See, and I don't know what Penguich lost last year as far as seniors, but I would imagine a lot of these girls playing for Penguich are the same ones that played last year when they played us in the state tournament.
Right.
And for Tabby, we only lost. Did we lose 2 seniors? Gosh, I can't remember.
100% on that.
Oh, we're such avid Tabby fans.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess what I was saying is I'm pretty sure a lot of those girls on both teams played each other last year at the tournament, so they knew what to watch for, kind of what to expect.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look up the stats for that Tabby on a Penguich game, but there's nothing uploaded yet. But I know seemed like Bella and Joy had a pretty good game, and obviously the Penguich's leading scorer, Tate Miller, she had a phenomenal game too. So, and like I said, Owens, I felt like she still played pretty good. She just didn't shoot the ball like I felt like she really could. But still, it was
or maybe even as much. I don't remember seeing her shoot it quite as much either.
And it's kind of hard on the Facebook Live to see everyone's numbers.
It is,
because there was just times where it'd go blurry and then come back.
Well, you got so many people in that same gym that's hooked up to the same server trying to do everything, so it makes it a little hard to watch. But
anyways, I was glad to see the Tigers got that win, and I was glad to see they were finally challenged. So.
We're gonna have to get after Coach Fabrizio. I mean, it's Sunday. We need those stats in here, Coach, so we can know what happened.
Yeah, but then looking at the boys, they like I said, they also played Penguich, ended up getting beat by 18. But I felt like there's one kid you got to give credit to, especially against the Eagles.
Duchesne.
Case Thomas. I mean, he's finally lit a fire underneath him. He's wanting to drive in hard, get them and ones. I mean, he did struggle a little bit on the free throw line, but he's shooting the ball well. He's attacking a little more now, and he just looks like a completely different ball player. A ball player that has confidence now.
And it gives, by him doing that, and if he can be productive at it like he has been, he just shows that he's more of a threat than just to stand out there and shoot a 3.
Right.
And it helps Tabby in a big way to get some inside presence. Like you said in the Duchesne game, we went down and watched it, and yeah, I thought he played extremely well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his stats right here, he had 12 points. Olsen, he also had a pretty good game with 14 points. Woods was a little slow, but he's, like I said, he's kind of the target. He's got a target on his back.
No matter who they play, their game plan as far as defense goes, they're going to try to contain him.
Yeah, he's probably going to have the best player put on him to try and shut him down.
Well, and right now, where he's the leading scorer in 1A, I mean, yeah, they're gonna make the other players beat them for sure.
Definitely.
And Duchesne did play some pretty good defense. Rocky did get into foul trouble. He had 4 fouls in the third quarter, so he had to sit for a while. But yeah, you're right. They're going to try to go after him. And Jackson, he had some really big steals towards the end of the game. It was just active hands. Kids would try to throw a pass. He had his hands up, and they threw it right into his hands. So, and Strand also played really well.
Yeah, I was going to say he was phenomenal too, shooting the ball. He's really on a just playing good basketball right now. His shots going in. It seems like he's taking good care of the ball.
Even his threes, he's hitting more threes than usual. He has been shooting very well, so hopefully he can keep that up throughout the season.
So yeah, I mean, Strand, he ended with 16 points, and I know he had quite a few rebounds as well. I'm pretty sure if I can pull him up.
Well, while you're looking for that, six.
I think so.
I was just going to say one more thing. We were talking about Case driving in. He drove, Duchesne had the tallest kids that I think Tabby has seen so far this year.
Yeah.
2 or 3 of them, really tall, long, big kids. And he just kind of acted like it didn't really bother him, I thought, So to see him do that, if he carries that through when he's going up against kids that are more his size, maybe even a little shorter, I think he could be even better. So we'll see what he does with that if he keeps it going. And I didn't get to watch him down there at the tournament a whole lot, but we'll kind of see. I think they're all getting ready to go on Christmas break here pretty soon.
But then, like I said, Duchesne Tabby game, it's always a rival. It's always a good game. It don't matter whose gym it's in. It's always a pretty loud. Like I said, the communities come to that game probably more than any other game around, and it's definitely a fun atmosphere to be in, to play in, just to be involved with. So for them to win that game by 2 and, like I said, boost their confidence, because Duchesne's a good ball club.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they've got some good players.
Yeah. So then looking at the Panguitch game, the boys Panguitch game against Tabiona, Olson, he had 6 points. Thomas came in with 7, but like I said, I feel like he could have had a few more. He had a few layups just not go in. He didn't shoot the free throw that great, but still, when he was just driving, attacking, doing that stuff we seen that he was doing against Duchesne, if whatever Case's mindset is in right now, he needs to keep it there because he's playing really good ball, and I hope everyone else sees that in him too. So
the biggest thing is he's got to see that in himself. He's got to understand that he is capable of that.
But yeah, against Panguitch, I mean, the Tigers did play well, but the Bobcats just out-rebound them, and they kind of controlled the tempo and the momentum. So you got to hand it to the Bobcats.
Well, you mentioned 2 things. One for them on the rebounds, and you mentioned Case struggling at the free throw line. As soon as kids realize that games are decided most of the time on the free throw line and rebounding, it'll come a lot easier to them, because those are 2 key factors. Just one more thing, and then I don't want to make this whole thing about Tabby, but I was at the game. So Jackson had got fouled with about 9 seconds left, and we were up 2. So you go to the line, you make both of them. It's not a done deal, but it's, kind of puts a pretty big burden on Duchesne's back, and he did. He stepped up, knocked down both free throws, gave him a 4-point lead to where you can let Duchesne do whatever they want to do, because they can't beat you on that. So free throws, rebounds, like I said, if kids will buy into that, it'll open their eyes up a lot to different things.
Yeah, and then I wanted to dig into the Bryce Valley boys game, because like we said, Valley ended up getting Bryce Valley, and Bryce Valley's been on a hot start now.
They beat them pretty good, didn't they?
Yeah. I don't remember the score, but I got their stats pulled up
While
here.
you're doing that, I'll find the score
here. I didn't get to watch the game, but I got some stats pulled up here, and it looked like House had a phenomenal game. He ended with 27 points with 5 3-pointers, and like I said right there, I feel like talking about Valley last week, like we said, he looked like a shooter. He might have not played that great against Milford, but he came out, and looks like in this Bryce Valley game, and he just flat played ball and made his shots.
Which tells you too, I mean, if he hit, you said 5 threes?
Yeah.
So if he hit 5 threes, obviously the kid can shoot. So this is something that I think maybe we can kind of expect to see from him throughout the year. Maybe not 5 threes every game, but he's obviously capable of doing it. So that'll be huge for Valley if he can keep that going, keep finding the hole.
So, yeah, House ended with 27 and 5 threes, and then you had C. Smith ended with 8, P. Harris ended with 8, H. Harris ended with 8, Chamberlain ended with 5, and a 3 for him. But, yeah, I mean, looking at the stats on what happened in that game, it was all House. House kind of put the team on his back and rode with us.
What day was that?
I'm not 100% sure.
It must have been before the Pinnacle tournament.
Yeah, it was.
Okay,
it was earlier. It was earlier in the week.
Okay, so let me go back.
I remember seeing that. Then looking at Bryce Valley stats, Syra, he's been playing phenomenal ball. He's still had 17 points. And then you had Lopez. He had 12. Roberts 4. Perez 4. I mean, so right there it kind of goes to show you Surrett is definitely, I feel like, the engine to that Bryce Valley team. Mm-hmm. He's definitely putting up the points. So, yeah, I mean, that goes back to the game plan. If you're playing Bryce Valley, I feel like if he's your defensive assignment, you got a big task ahead of you.
Yeah.
So.
And I did find that score. It was Thursday that they played, and Valley beat them by 20, 70-50.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. They could play him again tomorrow, and it could be a totally different outcome. But it goes to show you, if House shoots the ball that well, I mean, yeah, 20-point game. But like I said,
the only kind of disadvantage for that is now he's got a target on his back. Now teams know. If they didn't know before, now they know. But good players will find a way around that.
Yeah, and then I know we're following Valley a lot right now, but then they ended up going playing Green River. And I believe Green River beat them. And that goes back to Rolando and Mendez, man. They went off in that game. Rolando had 27 points, 4 3-pointers, 5 rebounds. I mean, Mendez, he had 20 points with 5 3-pointers, 5 rebounds. And then obviously you had Hernandez that just causes a lot of headache for defensive teams. He's so good on the point. He had 10 points, a 3-pointer, and 4 rebounds. So
who's the? I get their names mixed up. Who's number 40? Is that Mendez?
It doesn't show their numbers right here.
Tell me the names again.
Mendez, you have Rolando, Mendez.
Mendez is the one that hit the 5 threes.
Yes.
So he's the one that shot the ball really well against us up here at Tabby. Okay.
Yeah, he was the one that had 7 threes against the Tigers. So.
Yeah, so in that score, I got it right here. Green River beat Valley 63-54.
Yeah. So right there again, you can't judge nothing by one game because, I mean, you have Valley play really well, kind of beats the number 1 team as far as the RPI goes right now. Comes over, plays Green River, they end up getting beat. Looking at Valley stats, House had another phenomenal game. He had 17 points with 2 3-pointers. And then you had W. Baird, he had 16 points, 3 3-pointers. And then Harris obviously had 12 points. Chamberlain with 9. So that one thing about Valley is I mean, you got to guard every single one of them. But you definitely got to know where House is.
Well, and Valley's always had a handful of kids that can shoot the ball pretty well. I feel like that's something that I've always remembered about Valley.
And like we said last week, they like to play that zone, so it don't surprise me the Pirates got that many threes off because they're just such deadly shooters.
Well, that's kind of how we saw up here in Tabby when Green River came up here. A lot of threes, when they're in the zone, and they do. It's all from ball movement. They move the ball, and they're not afraid to make that extra pass, give up a shot that they might have to someone that's more open. So but when you have that many weapons to shoot threes, it's easy to do that.
Well, and that's just, even when you look at Tabby's girls, it's kind of the same way. I mean, you can't just sit back in a zone and let them shoot, because all of them can shoot very well.
Right.
I mean, against the Panguitch game, we didn't see as many threes going down, but that's because Panguitch likes to play man, and they play a very good man defense.
And it's tougher. And then Green River, they went and played Carbon. It was last Friday, or let's see, it would have been the 12th. But Carbon's a 3A, and they only lost to Carbon by 2. Yeah. So like we've said before, Green River's got a pretty good ball club. They'll be one that I think will be tough all year, as long as all their guys stay healthy, because they do kind of only play 5 guys. They'll bring one in once in a while for a little breather, but
Yeah, and then the other Tabby girls game, they ended up playing Milford, and I thought that would be a little better game, but our girls just handled Milford really well, and just ended up just kind of taking off with that. But
yeah, they beat them pretty bad, didn't they?
Yeah.
71 to...
It was a big gap. I
Yeah,
don't
I can't
remember exactly
remember.
the score, but I thought that would be a little better game, just because them 2 girls seemed like they really. But it goes to show you, you shut down the 2 girls and create that havoc, man. It's hard to get on a roll.
And that's the thing. Every one of these coaches, they have a game plan. They know who needs to be stopped.
Yeah.
And if the players can do that, which it doesn't always happen. Good players will find a way to beat you, But if you do, you give yourself a good shot at winning the game, and it makes other kids, which it can also help your team too. If you're the one, like take Tabby for example, how we were saying Rocky is kind of the target.
Yeah.
But it gives these other kids from Tabby an opportunity to step up and show, hey, there's 4 of us out here with him. You're going to have to guard us too, and that goes for any of these other teams.
So yeah, that Milford game was 71-37.
Yeah, so
And then the girls ended up playing Monument Valley, and that one was a decent game, but the Tigers ended up getting them 47-34, and then played Mazer Prep again and ended up getting them by 39-28. So
see, and I didn't watch that one either, because they beat Mazer Prep up here by a lot more than that.
yeah,
So I don't know.
I'm not sure what
but
happened.
Mazer Prep also has that girl. Are there any stats on that game?
I
Because they've
doubt
got
it.
that one girl that Nolan, is that her name? I think her last name is Nolan.
Yeah, there's no stats on that. I mean, well, and what's crazy is looking at the second quarter, Mazer Prep only scored 2 points, but then I don't know, that they definitely had a tough second quarter as far as that, but yeah, anyways, it was a lot of good basketball as far as boys and girls, a lot of games, trying to keep up with them all, especially when they ain't being streamed on a platform, kind of trying to text the kids' parents, say, hey, who's
Somebody put this on Facebook or something.
So I mean, it was kind of a hard week to try watch games as far as at that tournament. So
well, hopefully, when they go back to their own schools, hopefully some of these people can let us know where they'll be streamed, and we can get together nights that pick a game here and there. Obviously we can't watch them all, but pick a game, get together and watch it. And it just, like you said before when we were talking, it just helps us. We can sit here and tell you what Max Prep says, what Des News says, but if we can actually watch it, we get a better feel for it.
Well, and I'm always one that, I mean, yeah, stats, the best player, whatever, but I'm always one trying to look for that kid that's just kind of the heart of the team, the hustler, Them are the kids I like to watch, because they don't get the recognition that they need.
Yeah, they don't show up. Their hustle doesn't show up in the stats. But a lot of times, too, when you have somebody like that, maybe they don't score a lot, but it's just their presence on the floor and their hustle and their hard work. It just kind of, everybody else picks up on that. We've seen it before where you have a kid that doesn't do a lot of scoring, and then you have your kid that, we'll just say he averages 20 a game. Well, when the kid that doesn't score is in the game, the kid that scores.
Yeah.
But a lot of times if that kid's not in the game, or if he's whatever it might be, the rest of the team could struggle too, because they feed off of his energy. So I'm with you. I like to try to find which team has that player and kind of find out what their role is when it's not scoring, or rebounding, something that doesn't show up in the stats.
Yep.
But well, with that being the last weeks in some of the top scores, I went and found the top 10 players in boys and girls as far as scoring, rebounding, and top 10 3-point shooters for each side. So we can kind of go through those.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're top 10 in all of 1A in the state, I mean, you need a little recognition.
Yeah,
because,
I agree.
I mean, it goes to show you that you put a lot of time in the gym, and you're aggressive. You're doing everything right. So I feel like this is a good time to put this out.
Yeah. So we'll start with the girls, and this is one you mentioned earlier. We'd talk about her a little bit. Ara Martin for Whitehorse. She's averaging 31.2 points a game.
Yeah, and that is just insane.
For anybody, 31 points a game is really, really good.
I mean, you have times where you might see a kid get it, but if she's averaging that, and we're, how many games are we in now? 5, 6?
Yeah.
I don't know who they've been playing, but it doesn't matter. You still have to be able to shoot the ball so well.
Well, and most of her
30.
points, from what we've been seeing, when we're kind of doing some research, most of her points are coming from 3.
Yeah.
Because she's also the top 3-point shooter in girls in 1A, and I think she's shooting right around, I'll find out here in a minute, but it's right around 40%.
Yeah, and like I said, that's great for a high school.
Yeah, and I don't know, I didn't see on here anywhere how old she is, so I'm not sure if she'll.
I could maybe look that up.
Yeah, while I'm going through the rest of these here, see if you can find that. So number 2, as far as the leading scorers on the girls' side right now, is Dakota. I think it's Cly from Monument Valley, and she's averaging 23. Coming in at number 8 is Hannah Clark at Whitehorse at 16.5. Number 9 is Joanne Barlow at Water Canyon. She's averaging 15.5. And then you have Andy Anderson at Valley, who is also, she's at 14.5, coming in at the number 10. But again, that's all of 1A. So that's a pretty good list right there, I think.
And looking here, she's a junior this
year.
So
they'll have her for another year too.
Yep.
So now we'll look at the girls' leading rebounders. And this one doesn't really surprise me because the past 2 years that I've watched our girls play Wendover, Millie Hicks, she's averaging 14.3 rebounds a game.
Wow.
And she just she's one of those ones, like we have talked in the past, she just got a nose for the ball. She's always in there trying to get the rebound, and it shows. So number 2, you've got Jasmine Mullis, I think is how you say that, Mullis, from Pinnacle at 14 a game. Acacia, I believe is how you say that, Acacia Dalton from Milford is 11.5. Phoenix Dubois is 10.2. So you have Phoenix Dubois and Millie Hicks from Wendover both in the top 10 in scoring and in rebounding.
Wow.
So 2, probably their main players, I'm assuming. I haven't had a chance to watch them at all, but coming in at, let's see, where am I at here? I think it's number 6. Yeah, number 5. Sorry, number 5 is Lily Torgerson from Panguitch is 9.4 a game. Jada Miles from Altamont is 8.7. Olivia Meekum from Bryce Valley is 7.5. Rayleigh Brinkerhoff from Valley is 7.5. This is the one, I don't know what happened when I tried to get this. All it says is Null. I'm thinking that's probably a last name. But she's from Valley. And, oh crap, I just lost. 7.5. And then, she's 7.3 from Monticello. That's what it is. And then we have Kendall Snell from Tinnick is averaging 7.2 rebounds a game. So Tinnick, getting a girl in the top 10 in rebounds, and I'm not sure which one she is. I'll probably recognize her once we see our girls play them.
Yeah.
But, like we mentioned before, Camby, the coach, has done a really good job with the program down there. They have a winning record as it stands right now. I think I don't know if they played Saturday or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But they're either 500 or they're over 500. So we can finish the girls here with their top 10 3-point shooters. I mentioned this before, but at number 1 is Kiara Martin from Whitehorse, and she's averaging 4.8 threes a game. She's shooting 39%. So that I was pretty close at 40, and that's a good percentage from 3. Molly Weston from Rich is averaging 3 a game, and it doesn't have her percentage on here for some reason. McKenna Owens, the one we talked about from Panguitch.
Yeah.
She's averaging 2.8 threes a game, and she's shooting 41%. Annabella Vasquez from Bryce Valley, 2.2 a game at 32%. AJ Van Dyke, which we've talked about her. We know she can shoot the ball.
Mm-hmm.
She from Wayne, she's averaging 1.8 a game right now at 48%. So she's nearly 50% from three. And let's see. So she's taken 23. So she's 11 for 23. She shot a decent amount of threes, but I know she likes to try to drive too. So
Yeah.
she's not putting up quite as many as some of these other ones. Erin Freestone from Monticello is 2.2 a game at 31%. Grady Pendleton from Manila is 1.6 a game at 21%. Joy Giants from Tabby is 2.5 a game at 50%. She's shot, so she's pretty close to Van Dyke. Van Dyke's taken 23 threes. Joy has taken 20. At number 9 is Lily Morrill. Sorry, guys, I probably butchered that, but she's from Wayne, 1.7 a game at 45%. And then at number 10 is Charlie Potter from Manila. She's averaging 1.4 threes a game at 37%. So all these girls, except for one, is like 35% and higher from the three.
Right. And then when we were talking about Wendover, I forgot to mention the Rebels played Wendover.
The boys or girls?
Girls.
Okay.
On the girls' end, and the Rebels ended up getting the win, but it was a 63-51 game. So I mean, it was a fairly close game. I mean,
well, and it could have been one of those games too where it was a close game the whole time. Maybe Rich got away from him, or maybe they did have that. But
so I mean, it goes to show you, Wendover, they ain't no pushover this year.
Well, they've been pretty good the last couple of years. I mean, they've been competitive. They, like I said, they've got the Millie Hicks, who is very competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a decent, have been a decent team.
Right.
All right, we'll jump over to the boys for the top 10 leading scorers in 1A right now. And this, I got these stats on Friday, so I'll bet they're pretty close. There could have been a change here and there in the top 10, but they got to be pretty close. So coming in at number 1 is Rocky Rhodes from Tabby. He's averaging 24.6 a game. Kind of like we talked in that Penguins game, he only had 11, so his average will go down a little bit, but one game, not too much. Coming in at number 2 is Rolando Anguiano.
And his thing is his is going to go up because he just had a dang good game against Valley. So
I know Coach Parsons listens to this, and we want to thank you for listening. And I probably just butchered his name as well, so I apologize for that. But he's averaging 20.1 points a game. And then another Green River at number 3 is Jason Hernandez with 19.9. At number 4 is Chase Friedberg Gerlich from St. Joe, averaging 19.8, which we'll get to see them a little bit too, with them being in our region now, so we'll be able to watch them play at least once. I don't know if we'll be able to make it, or I'm assuming they'll play region games. They'll play here and away. So next we have Blake Peterson from Wayne, who's averaging 19.3. I said this last time. I think it's Denante Blackmore from Water Canyon is at 19. Number 7 is Ridge Lundgren from Rich at 18. Number 8 is Hagen Jameson from Tinnick at 17.7. Number 9 is Boston Sullivan at 17.2, and we got to watch him here. Well, I don't know if you might not have made that game, but I got to watch him up here in Tabby play, and he's a solid ball player.
Oh yeah, he's way solid.
And then at number 10 from Bryce Valley is Brace Syret, and he's averaging 17.1 a game. You know, a lot of those names doesn't really surprise me to be up there in the top as far as the scoring goes.
Yeah, and looking at that Water Canyon team, I know we haven't really, haven't really heard of them till this year. Mm-hmm. Maybe they've been around, I'm not sure, but yeah, Blackmore, he's averaging 21.6 a game. Then you got Greg Hammond behind him, 14.5 points a game. And then Dominic Andrade, 6.1 points a game. Looking at their rebounds, Blackmore, he's 9.3 rebounds a game, and then you got Allred, 8.9 rebounds a game. And so looking at them, I think they're probably no pushover either. Mm-hmm. Don't know a whole lot about them.
Go ahead, sorry.
But I just figured it'd be nice to get them kind of in the podcast because, like we said, we want to try and cover everyone besides just Tabby, Penguin, and Rich and Paiute. So we want to try and cover everyone. So.
Well, and I think Water Canyon has been around for a few years. They just, yeah, you don't really ever see much about them, but I think they're down by St. George somewhere.
Yeah, their thing says, is it Hilldale?
Which I don't know where that's at.
Hilldale, Utah. So
I think it's by St. George.
I think
I could be
you're
wrong,
right.
but I think that's where they're at.
So anyway, that kind of gives them a little bit of a shout out. I mean, we haven't really mentioned them at all.
Mhm.
So,
And they'd be a team that if we can find out if and how they stream their games, I wouldn't mind watching them to
Oh, yeah.
kind of see who it is we're actually talking about. It's always good to put a face to a name,
for sure.
no matter where they're playing at. So, and then moving on to the boys leading rebounders, at number 1 from Panguitch is Trenton Verga at 13.7 a game.
And you can just, when they played the Tigers, he's just, you gotta get a body on him every time. He's just so big and just, he's tall, man. He's just.
Well, and I would
he's
also
hard to stop.
I would like to throw out there too. Not only is he leading 1A in rebounding, but when I got these stats, again, this could have changed a couple days ago, but he was leading the state
Oh wow.
in rebounding. So he obviously loves to rebound the ball, and he, I would imagine, is one that probably gets a handful of his points off of offensive rebounds. I know in the past Panguitch has 2 or 3 guys that's how they score. I don't know about, I haven't watched him, so he may be able to score in other ways. But they've always got some kids that their points come from offensive stickbacks.
Yeah, he's pretty solid down in the paint. That when them guards get him the ball down low, he's definitely got some moves.
Is he the one that they have listed at like 6'7"?
Yes.
So yeah, he's a pretty tall kid then.
Yeah.
So okay, moving on down the list here. Number 2 from Wayne is Tristan Martinez. He's at 10 rebounds a game. Another player from Wayne at number 3 is Hunter Robbins at 9.8. Case Sorensen from Altamont at 9.7. Braden Jessen at Altamont at 9.3. Diego Contreras from Pinnacle is at 9.3. Carter Scott from Rich is at 9.2, which I find that kind of cool because I know he's a shooter.
Yeah.
So to have a kid that can shoot the 3 very well, but he's also in the top 10 in 1A in rebounding, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and he's not a huge kid, so he's just got a nose for the ball. I mean, well, we talked about this earlier, but like back when I played, Dusty Jones, he's no taller than me, but he was a magnet to the ball. He just had a nose. He knew exactly how the ball was going to come off the rim. So there's some kids that just, I don't know how you'd even teach it. It's just an instinct they have.
Yeah, I don't think you can. I think they just have to buy into it. And,
Yeah.
Back in the day here at Tabby, Cole Giles,
Yeah.
he wasn't one of the tallest players out there, but dude, he would go to every single rebound and he'd get a lot of them.
Right.
But I think it's just something, they just have to buy into themselves and tell themselves that that's what they're going to do. I'm trying to teach Brooklyn right now. For those of you who don't know, my daughter, she's in 6th grade, and I think she's going to be pretty tall, but I'm trying to teach her, hey, if you want to score the ball, go get a rebound. Because if you can get in there and get rebounds and put it back up, you're going to get more points that way than probably anything else. And I think she'll have the size and the ability to do it. So, but like you said, I'm trying to teach her, but kids just have to finally tell themselves, hey, this is what I want to do.
Right.
Like I can think of several names over the years from Tabby of players that's just kind of what they did. Their points came from rebounds. So, so next on the list is, I think it's Gerardo Lopez from Bryce Valley is at 9.1 rebounds a game. At number 9 is Deontay Blackmore from Water Canyon at 9 a game. And then Keisler Merriweather from Milford is at 8.7 a game. Which, again, watching him play up here in Tabby, that kind of doesn't really surprise me. He just kind of hustles and wants to give his team a second chance at the possession. So that'll lead out the rebounders, and then just real quick, we'll cover the boys' top 10. Well, I say real quick. We kind of, mainly me, go off on tangents once in a while, but we'll go through it here real quick. So I'm not going to butcher this twice in a row, so I'm just going to go with the first name here from Green River is Rolando. He's averaging 3.2 a game. It doesn't show his percentage, and I'm not smart enough to figure it out, but he's 26 for 56. Jason Hernandez at number 2, also from Green River, with 3 threes a game. Brody Howell from Pinnacle is 2.7 a game. David Mendez from Green River is 2.4. Harrison Staples from Mount Vernon is 1.8. Rustin Shanoff from Bryce Valley is 1.9. Jackson Olson from Tabby is 2.4. Jackson Keys from Monticello is 2.2. Brace Syrett from Bryce Valley is 1.6, and rounding out the top 10 is Jexton Ashworth from Milford at 1.7 threes a game.
Yeah. So like I said, all them boys that's shooting the ball so well, I'm sure every one of them's put the time in the gym to get their shot down. So
Well, I know for one, Jackson Olson does. I remember last year, I really don't think there was a day of the week that his truck wasn't at the school.
And like I said, that's what it takes. And I'm sure every one of them kids that's on that list right there have the same exact attitude. I did want to bring up the Wayne Badgers, their boys, because they have been playing extremely well this last little bit, but they ended up beating Panguitch. And so I wanted to just kind of go through that. On the Bobcat end, Walter had 13 points. Verga, he had 21. Ramsey had 11. So, and then on the rebounding end, I was gonna look and see. Verga, he had 11 rebounds. So right there goes to show you that he deserves to be in that top.
He's I don't know what he's averaging for points. I think he's one that's averaging a double-double right now, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think
he is. And then looking at the stats for Wayne, it looked like Peterson he went off that game. 25 points. And then next to him, Martinez, 10 points. Robbins, 17 points. So looking at the Badgers, I know we haven't talked about their boys as much. Definitely next week, I think I'm going to do a little more digging on their end to try and talk about them a little more.
How much did you say how many did Martinez score?
He had 10 points.
10?
Yeah.
So he was number 2 on the leading rebounders at 10 a game.
Let me see how many rebounds he ended up having. Martinez had 12 rebounds that game.
So he got more than his average, but I guess where I was going with that is I don't know what he's averaging points either, but if you're getting a kid that can average a double-double in points and rebounds, that's pretty good.
So Blake Peterson leads the Badgers with 19.1 points a game.
Oh, so he's...
That's Blake Peterson.
Oh, Peters, yeah,
he's a senior. Hunter Robbins, 16.3 points a game.
So Hunter Robbins and the rebound, sorry, but I want to get this while you're going through it. He scored how many? He's averaging how many points?
He's averaging 16.
16 points a game, and he's averaging 9.8 rebounds a game, so he's almost a double-double as well.
Yeah. And then Martinez, he's averaging 10.6 points a game.
So he's right there at the double-double.
And then Max Preps has Martinez right now at 10.6 rebounds a game. Did that change compared to you?
A little bit. When I checked, it had him at 10.
Okay, so he went up 10.6.
But that could be including that game where he had 12 rebounds added.
Right. Hunter Robbins, 9.4 rebounds a game. And then this, I don't know why, but this is always my favorite stat to look at, is the assists. Blake Peterson, 5 assists a game right now. And like I said, we're in how many games now? The Badgers, I know... They've won quite a few of they're 6-3 now, so they've played 9 games, and he's still averaging 5 assists a game.
Plus his 19 a game.
And yeah, he must be just a solid ball player. But yeah, looking at the Badgers.
Well, from just looking at it and not actually watching him, it kind of tells me that he can score the ball, but he also likes to get his teammates involved as well and help them score too if you're averaging over 5 assists a game.
Yeah, because they beat Panguitch, they beat Altamont, they beat Escalante, and then they ended up beating Millard yesterday. So they're playing really good.
They did beat Millard?
They beat Millard.
What was the score, does it say?
50-53, so
okay.
Good game. But they're playing some really good basketball, and I'm definitely going to look into watching some of their games because their boys are just looking really solid right now.
It's probably an exciting year in Wayne, too, because their girls being as good as they are. So
oh, yeah.
It's good for them, good for that.
I think we said that before. I bet their gyms are packed
Yeah, that's
I bet
good for that community to have, and I'm sure they've got it. Yeah, like you said, packed. I was gonna say, I'm sure they've got a bunch of support too. So that's pretty cool. Well, that kind of
covers
wraps
a lot
up
of the
the scores and the games, and I'll try this week to be a little better on doing my homework and trying to look at a few more games and be a little more on top of it. But with that being said, do you want to move into your memories on the hardwood section?
Yeah, let's do a little memories on the
Okay.
hardwood. This is so awesome. We finally got some emails.
We
in.
got two.
Heck yeah.
We got 2 emails, so you guys don't have to hear us talk about our memories this week. We'll share 2 from someone else. So the first one I'll go with is Coach Parsons from Green River sent us an email. And I want to thank him because he kind of reached out basically thanking us for doing the podcast and saying that he knows that this kind of stuff is important to these small town communities, which it is. These small towns, a lot of what they go on is their sports. There's a lot of support from anywhere from the high school kids to the alumni to even alumni's relatives. There's a lot of support in all these communities. So, he kind of thanked us for doing it, and I want to thank him for watching it and anybody else that watches it too. That's why we wanted to do this, to give some people some insight that maybe there really wasn't a way to kind of follow it other than looking everything up yourself. So,
and it takes a lot of time. I mean, me and you, we've spent a lot of time trying to just watch games and different things.
Yeah.
So,
well, and we talk about we just don't have the time to do it. My wife and I were talking about this the other day, how there's not enough hours in the day. But we sat here one night and said, you know what, we're already strapped for time. Why don't we go ahead and try to do 2 podcasts and see if we can squeeze something else in there. So. And there is another one. Do you care if I throw the other one out? The other podcast?
Oh yeah, do whatever.
So, just in case you guys are interested, I do one. It's kind of just me, but I like to bring someone in. We started the same time, so I've only got 2 out right now. But I just try to bring in somebody and just sit down and have a conversation with them. The last week I did with Coach Dallas Jones, the assistant from Tabby here, who I've been friends with for a very long time. And I've got a lot of comments and feedback on that one. So if you guys are interested and you want to go watch it too, it's called Talking Nonsense with Wacey Giles, and it's also on Spotify. But I don't want to make this one about that one. Just thought I'd plug it real quick, and we'll move on here. So back to Coach Parsons with his memory. So he says, I have great memories of playing against Tabiona some 35 years ago. It was always a knockdown, drag-out battle. When I was a sophomore at the region tournament in Price, I remember Tabby playing Duchesne, and it was a wild game. A couple of fights broke out in the stands, and it was just a crazy game, which I think that's happened a few different times, not just Tabby games, but some other, one Tabby game in particular, I remember a fan coming on the floor at the ref, and it cost that visiting team the game. But it's kind of funny to see that, what did he say, some 35 years ago, it was even happening back then. So he goes on to say, we were playing the next game against Altamont, and it was the first time for me to get valuable varsity time as a sophomore. Altamont beat us in overtime, and we ended up losing the next day and not getting into the state tournament that year. We were ranked number 1 going into the region tournament. We had only lost 1 game until the tournament. So those seasons are tough.
Yeah.
When you come in, you had only lost 1 game all year, you're ranked number 1, and then you get in there and you end up getting beat out in the state tournament, which goes back to what I said a little bit ago when we were talking about the RPI. You never know what's going to happen.
No.
Once you get to the state tournament, the season, if a team is down there with the right mindset, they don't care one bit about the season and how it happened. Even if you come in as this year the number 8 seed.
Oh yeah, I mean, even if you come in, like what you said last week with Manila, you guys beat them 3 times, but then in that one that mattered, they ended up getting you.
Yep.
So it goes to show you that it doesn't matter. At the state tournament, everyone's 0-0 again.
Yep.
So
and down there at state, everybody has a target on their back.
Oh yeah.
Not just in this case, not just the number 1 Green River. They might have had the biggest target, but everybody has a target. So, again, thank you to Coach Parsons for sharing your memory. We really appreciate it, and it's kind of cool to see that 35 years ago, the atmosphere was pretty much the same.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it doesn't really. And I've heard people from, you know, out in the city that are more associated with bigger schools. I've heard them say before, like they maybe have some extended family that plays in a 1A, so they'll go out and watch a game. And I've heard it time and time again. It is a crazy atmosphere at 1A,
Right.
especially the state tournament. You know.
Oh, yeah.
But my wife, being from Springville, she went to Springville High School, and she's told me about basketball games at Springville, how it was just insane. Couldn't hear yourself think. Just nuts. So basketball is huge no matter where you're at. And maybe I say this because I've only been involved in 1A, but it just seems like a different environment.
Yeah.
Just like he said, knock down, drag out. It's always like that.
Well, like I said, back then you had the fans wanting to throw hands with each other.
No
So,
okay, so we'll move on to the second one, which actually came from your sister, from Skya. Thank you, Skya, for sending this in. And hers is kind of long, but that's all right. Well, it's not kind of long. It's pretty long. But that's all right. I'll do my best to read through this, and hopefully I don't mess it up. So she starts off by saying, for as long as I remember, Manila had always been our kryptonite in basketball during my era. From losing to them in a junior high tournament all the way through high school. If a team had the potential to ruin Tabby championship dreams, it was them. Well, she says this from a girl's standpoint. I was on the boys' side of it,
right.
and twice.
Right.
I was a sophomore. Yeah, sophomore. And the two Catron brothers, big threes, right down at the and they were deep. It wasn't just a couple sets; they were deep. So they beat us then, and then, like we said, beat us my senior year in the championship. I feel her pain coming from there, from Manila. She goes on to say, fast forward to my junior year, we played them in the semifinal game at the state tournament. Emotions were high and definitely not proud of this, and it was a memory that haunts me, but I got a technical foul in that game. The only T I ever got, by the way, she says. Anyway, I got it because I threw the ball on the ground and it went above my head, which are frustrating because usually you do that because you're mad at yourself.
You're right.
Not, but that's neither here nor there. It's a T either way. They gave it to me, and I had to sit out most of the first half. It was similar our junior year to our senior year. We really only had 5 to 6 players on the floor most of the time, so sitting out didn't help the team. We lost that game only by maybe 6 points, and Manila went on to win the championship. Or they went on to the championship game, sorry. I didn't get too choked up and sad until the next day when I watched Manila walk out onto the floor during the championship game. It was a sadness I'll never forget, but a fire that was lit, and I wanted so badly to be in the game the next year. Which does hurt.
Oh, yeah.
I've lost in both. I've lost in a semifinal and I've lost in a final. And it's almost harder to lose in the semifinal because you sit, all that's on your mind is we should have been there.
Yeah.
Not saying it's easy when you lose the championship because it's not.
Yeah.
But those are both tough situations to be in. Fast forward again, and here we are facing Manila in the semifinal game again, our senior year. You better guarantee I kept my emotions in check this time. The game went into overtime and we beat them and made it to the championship game. I remember watching someone go up for the last shot and they had missed it, and I immediately ran out to my dad, who was assistant coach, and hugging him. We played Rich in the championship game, and what a game that was. I think there was 20 lead changes throughout the game, which I remember being at that game, and it was back and forth.
I think I was only in 4th grade. And I remember it like plain as day.
Back and forth the whole game. We had a fantastic first quarter. I'm pretty sure we went up 12-2 at one point. I also remember Savannah hit a half-court shot at the end of the quarter, but the refs didn't count it. But we had a lot of momentum that first quarter, but of course Rich came back, and I'm pretty sure we were tied, or one was only up by 2 or so at the half. The end of the game was a nail-biter for sure. We were down 6 with 2 minutes left, and I'm sure as a fan they were just as nervous, but as a player I had a lot of confidence in our team. That 2 minute, the momentum shifted so much that we just chipped away points 2 at a time until suddenly we were only down 2. I remember a play being set up for me to shoot a 3. They came flying at me and I went in for a layup and made it. I'm sure the fans wanted me to shoot the 3, But now I look back, and chipping away at the lead 2 points at a time is what won the game for us. The coaches called a timeout, and I can remember Stacy being the most confident player at the time, and she wanted the ball. And we all knew that it was the right choice. Now, you said earlier that it's important to practice game-like scenarios in practice. I'm pretty sure we practiced this last scenario many times. Going down the court, getting the ball to Stacy, but intentionally fouling her so she'd be strong and finish. You better believe that's how it worked out. Savannah ran down the court. I set Stacy a pick. She got the ball. She got fouled, got the and one. She got hit and the layup went in. I remember thinking, oh my goodness, just like practice. She tied the game up at 50-50. Rich called a timeout with like 8 seconds left. We went to the huddle and still said just like practice, because we would make these scenarios up like a tied ball game at state championships on the line. All you got to do is make the free throw to get it. She goes to the line, and all of us had the confidence she would do it, and it went in. We were up 51-50. Rich goes down the court, puts up a shot, and who else is there to get the rebound? None other than Camby, who was the top rebounder in the state at the time. They fouled her and put her to the line. She intentionally missed the free throw, and the ball bounced around because there was like 2 seconds on the clock, and Rich can't get a shot off. We win state. I remember the joy and the excitement in the gym, and to think that 10 years of hard work finally paid off, it really was a great memory for us. She has a second memory here. Do you want me to do it now, or should we do it next week?
Let's save that for next week.
So, Skya, we're going to do your second memory next week. And if anyone else wants to email their memories in, please do. This is kind of fun reading other people's experiences.
I mean, right there, she's my sister, whatever, but it gives you goosebumps even thinking about it. I mean, it come down to the wire, and, I do remember my dad talking about how he would just try and rip Stacy's arms off in practice, and he always talked about that. Well, they all do. But yeah, it was a big play, if I remember right.
It's cool for me to read these because everybody that I know that was involved in 1A basketball, no matter what school you went to, just really has a love and a passion for the game. Mm-hmm. Like, here I am 20 years later, and I still like to go watch these kids play. You know?
Yeah.
It's fun. You want them to win. Sometimes you feel like you want the team to win more than they actually want to win.
Yeah.
But, it's a good time. Plus, my kids are involved now, and they love to go and watch the boys play. Well, the girls, too. So it's just pretty cool to read these. And like you said, they do give you goosebumps, and Dallas and I have talked in the past about that championship game that we lost to Manila, and it just kind of leaves a pit in your stomach that really just never goes away, you know. And I haven't seen any of those boys since school. Well, actually, I did see Jeremy Catron. I don't know if he would know me or not, but he was the coach of the 4th, 5th, and 6th grade boys when they did a little tournament up here. So, but other than that, I haven't seen any of those guys to kind of, even though they beat me, I'd still flip them a little crap, because they were good dudes and they were good ball players. Casey Robinson from Manila, really good ball player. Coach Hughes was on that team. So, but yeah, it's crazy how this stuff really just doesn't leave you. It just kind of sticks with you forever.
Right. Well, kind of before we close out, I wanted to give a little shout out to my sister-in-law, Kira Grant. She plays for the Duchesne Eagles, and even though they're in the 2A, she last week hit a milestone that most kids don't hit. Mm-hmm. And she hit her 1,000-point game in a season. And yes, I have watched her grow up, watched her put the time into. She loves basketball, but her thing is softball. Like, she's going on to play for a great college up in Idaho after she graduates this year. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to Kira because, watching her grow up, and she just put the time in. You can see, when everyone else is going off with their friends doing whatever, they're in the gym or they're in the cages hitting or pitching or whatever it is. she's put the time in, and so
Awesome.
I just wanted to give a shout out to you, Kara, because you deserve it for hitting 1,000 points, because it's impressive to do. I guess shout out to her parents too, because like I said, they've pushed her and done everything they could to get her to hit those milestones and get her into a college that is extremely doing well in the softball program. So.
Well, and that's kind of one thing I was going to say is the drive from the parents. You know, Kyle was a very good ball player himself.
Mm-hmm.
And so she not only has she had the push from her parents, but she's also had someone with the knowledge and the skill and the ability to teach her what she knows, you know. So that's, but like you said, she put in the time. And you also said not many kids achieve that 1,000-point milestone. Well, that's why.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that achieve it, they put the time into the game, and they're not putting in the time. They're not going in there saying one day I'm going to hit 1,000 points. No, they want to be good.
I mean,
they're there,
well,
you know?
I mean, there's even been times during the county fair. You know, what do you want to do when you're 16? You want to go down the county fair and hang out with all your friends. Well, these girls, they're going to tournaments and practicing ball, and I've always been one that's felt like if you're playing really well in another sport, it's definitely going to help you in the next sport.
Some of the best athletes in the world were some of the top athletes in multiple sports.
Yeah, and that's definitely how Kira is. She's just phenomenal in volleyball, softball, basketball. I mean, she could probably run track with the best of them if she wanted to. She's that competitive and that aggressive, and so I just wanted to give a little shout out to her.
Well, that's really cool. I'm glad you did. And Kira, if you listen to this, I don't know you, but I would like to say congratulations, because that is an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah.
So way to go.
But with that, we just want to say thank you, everyone, for listening to this one, and we'll probably see you next Monday. So
yeah, that's all I've got too. So thank you, everybody. And again, quick reminder: send us an email if you have a memory. It's the GD1A Sports Podcast at gmail.com. So. Thank you, guys.